School Sports News journalists Timmy Hancocks and Warwick Austin chat about the latest school rugby rankings and preview the Wildeklaver Super Schools Rugby Festival in Maritzburg.
When we sit down to draw up the rankings, firstly, it's not definite, it's not absolute, and another thing is it's not easy at all.
To begin the rankings, we always start off with a clean slate, so no school's given an advantage where we don't take into account too much where they were the year before, because each year is different at school. It's not like a professional team. You know, one matric year might just simply be better than another one, or have a few more talented guys where one player can make a big difference.
Yeah, people get very sensitive about the rankings. I don't think we get given stick per se, but you know, when someone's school isn't in there and they feel they should be, people tend to get upset.
When we pinpoint exactly where a team belongs, it's down to the level of the number of wins they've picked up in the season, together with the strength of the opposition they've played. So if one side has won equal number of games to another side, it's simply down to how good the opposition they've played are.
Outeniqua have been performing magnificently over the past decade, and this year in particular they got a very strong side. They are without a doubt our number one, and that was confirmed after beating Grey Bloem. Obviously Grey Bloem, always a strong contender, they'll be back up there. So will Paul Gym and Waterkloof. Paul Boys High slipped down a bit this year, but they'll probably be contending for number one, and I think another school to look out for is Monument.
There are a few teams that you must take note of this year who are looking very good. In particular, Garsfontein have looked fantastic with a very exciting side, and they're building on the success they've shown in sevens in recent years.
Changes to our latest rankings, mostly towards the bottom half, where we've seen the likes of Paul Roos, Jostay and Transvalia fall out with losses, and in come Die Brandweg from Uitenhage, who've been unbeaten, and Grey PE, who had a fantastic win over Paul Roos, back-to-back wins for them in the last 2 years. And also we see Westville sneaking into the bottom and at number 20. They had a good win over Pretoria Boys High, and this is in spite of a few losses this season, but they've been up against some tough opposition like Paul Gym and Grey PE.
With the rankings, you can never please everyone, and that's not what we're out to do. It is a matter of opinion, and you know that's why we come together as a few rugby knowledgeable folk to try and pick out who we think the strongest team is, based not always on the results, but rather if these two teams were to meet, who do we think would come out on top? Fantastic to see Wildeklaver Super Schools at Maritzburg this year, where Maritzburg College celebrating their 150th year, and they already had a very successful Easter festival, so no doubt it'll be a fantastic tournament with some top schools producing some fantastic rugby.
I think the Wildeklaver Super Schools is going to have a massive impact on the top 20 rankings because of the high caliber of schools on offer there. For example, a side like Waterkloof have got two very tough matches. They play Outeniqua and Paul Gym, who are currently the number 1 and 2 schools. So victories there could see them catapult right to the top. And it also provides a good opportunity for sides like Oakdale, who are on the fringes of the top 20, and they now get the opportunity to perhaps move in there. But of course, it's not only about the rankings. For these schools, it's a great honour to be invited to such a festival. And of course, I'm sure the talent scouts will have their pen and paper out, watching very carefully at the talent on display.
At the festival, we'll be seeing some of the top schools, the juggernauts from Paarl, the Grey Bloems, Grey PE, Maritzburg College representing KZN. And certainly this is a festival not to be missed, and one that any fan of schoolboy rugby will need to take note of.